Good morning, everybody. It is Kelly O'Neill, and I want to welcome you to the Marketing to Millionaires Success Circle Training Thursday call. So for those of you who are brand new to the circle and brand new to our Training Thursday calls, I want to give you a warm welcome. What you probably are already noticing is the Marketing to Millionaires Success Circle is different. It is not like other Facebook communities out there in the market. And what that means is this really isn't just a Facebook community at all. It's actually an entire entry-level training program that we provide with our compliments to entrepreneurs who are committed to creating an extraordinary business and an extraordinary life by marketing to affluent clientele. So as a result of that, we have this structured differently. Obviously, we have granted you a 30-day access, and in that 30 days, we need to make sure that you host your welcome call. So this is just a quick 10-15-minute welcome call where we get to learn about you and your business so that we can help serve you in the future. So during your welcome call, one of our profit concierge is they're going to really look into your business and see what it is that you're up to and what your goals are for this year and what kind of resources you need, what kind of introductions you need. And we're going to point you into the right direction of the various things that we have in our resource library that are not available online and are in our kind of backdoor vault for you to have and help you accelerate your path to getting the results you want. We'll point you also in the direction of previous Training Thursdays. We'll point you in the direction of podcast episodes. Whatever it is that you are needing right now to up-level your business. So that call is going to be very well worth your time. Also, they will make sure that you are all acclimated to the circle so that you can get the most value out of this tremendous opportunity. So please do make sure that you schedule and hold that welcome call within the first 30 days. Because that is kind of like our grace period, our temporary pass period for being in the community. So please do make sure that you do that. This is a community that we do keep highly vetted and qualified, meaning that we don't, again, this isn't a Facebook group, so we don't really allow people to just come in and squat and spew spam out into our group, because the group loses value that way. It's really exclusive. We do vet every single person, and we want to make sure that it's the right people in here who are going to be able to support one another in growing to the next level. So that's really important. Also, please do make sure that you keep your welcome calls. We actually research your business when you apply. We research your business, we look into your social media accounts. We want to make sure that we're prepared for the meeting. So when people no-show, that's just not awesome. So please be respectful of our Profit Concierge calendar. They are here doing this for you and for your business. So please make sure that you do show up, or at very least that you give 24 hours notice. Our Profit Concierge are often booked out 3 weeks in a row, and there's other people that really want and need this support that are willing to show up. So please make sure you do that. Okay, so with that being said, this is a very different community. You'll see. Check out the event section. Also, make sure that you connect with your Profit Concierge. This is super important. This is your lifeline to all the behind the scenes action. They have access to private door workshops like the positioning workshop and the strategy room. They have access to private other trainings. They've got access to speed networking events that we have going on that are going to help you build your business, as well as a variety of other things. So you need to make sure that you connect with your Profit Concierge. Also, if you've not done it yet, make sure that you register for our upcoming Marketing to Millionaires Executive MBA. This is what is formally known as the Profit Intensive. Well, it's not the Profit Intensive anymore. We have redone the format. We have shortened the length. We have actually added a whole fast track version, and we've really redone the format for busy entrepreneurs who want this information, but they don't have 10 days or 10 hours to sit through training. So we have not only created the original format, but we also have a fast track version. So you can register for that right now at marketingtomillionaires.com. All right, everybody. So let me first give you a little brief intro to me and who I am. So for those of you who don't know me and you are brand new, my name is Kelly O'Neill. I am a brand marketing and business strategist that specializes in helping entrepreneurs around the world really create a go-to market leading position in their field. It's not just about becoming an expert, it's about becoming the go-to authority, which are two different things. So that is what I help entrepreneurs do. And I also help them develop business strategies that allow them to scale from 6 to 7 to 8 figures very strategically, because I am very strategic in the way that I operate. And then we do that part of the way by marketing to affluent clientele. So there's a whole strategy around why we market to affluent clientele, especially when we're growing the base of our business up in the market. It's part of the strategy, which we're going to be talking about today. So today we're going to be talking about strategy versus tactics and how they work together to grow your business. So that's going to be the topic of today. So let me tell you why I chose this topic. And one of the things you're going to get to learn about me is I am very blunt, very blunt. So I have been in the business mentoring industry and business consulting industry for 20 years now. And over the time, I've seen a lot of changes in the business mentoring industry and market. I've seen a lot of business coaches come into the market that don't have qualifications, that don't have track record, that are teaching other people's work. And it's become very, very diluted. And so one of the things that really just drives me crazy, well, it drives me crazy across the board anyways, is when people, there's that saying, which I think is the worst piece of business advice. It's total bullshit, which is, well, we teach what we need to learn. Okay, but don't build a business around what you need to learn. You need to build a business around what you've mastered, right? Because that is like building a business around what you need to learn is not only not fair to the people that you're selling as you're learning, but it is also not the most strategic way for you to build a business. So when all of these things started happening and business coaches are out there and they're starting to use a lot of vernacular wrong. I'm watching the trainings that they're putting out into the marketplace and I'm like, that's not even accurate. Like I saw a training one time as an example from this guy that's like, the best recession-proof strategy to build your business during the recession is to use messaging bots. I'm like, first of all, bud, no, that's not the best strategy by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, actually, that's not even a strategy. That's tactic, right? And so I see this all the time, even with very well-known business mentors or business coaches. I see this all the time where they do not come from a strategic background. They have definitely a zone of genius, otherwise they wouldn't be so effective, but they don't necessarily understand strategy. They're approaching and they teach very tactically in the marketplace, right? So I'm going to tell you how to recognize that as well, because it's super important to you in growing your business. If you are one of those people that are like, I'm so sick and tired of doing all the things, you're learning and following a tactical business model. Okay. We're going to get to that. But this started driving me absolutely crazy because some of the words that I see, first of all, a lot of people really don't understand what strategy means. They do not understand what tactic means. They call tactic strategy all the time. They state what branding is. Branding is not a logo on a website. So they misstate what branding is. They misstate what positioning is. And they're out there giving all this information, and then people cannot figure out why it's not working, right? So, and let me just tell you, they're not going to stick to their lane because these things sell in the market, right? So that's problematic. So I want to educate you so that you can make the best decisions for you in your business. Okay. So it's really terrifying how much misinformation is out there. And even when, I get a lot of people who come to my programs from other programs where they're like, well, they told me this. And I'm like, that's not even accurate. I'm like, don't take my word for it. And I just pull up some market research and I'm like, here you go. And they're like, oh, that's why it didn't work. I'm like, yeah, they just completely gave you the wrong information. Like, it's not based in business strategy. It's not based in tried and true business principles, which is what my expertise is. I am not a coach. I am a strategic consultant that has been doing this for many years. So my background before I even started working with entrepreneurs is I was in corporate America. I started in brand marketing agencies and positioning, brand marketing and PR agencies when I was 19 years old as an intern. And then I got hired on as a coordinator. So I've been working in this industry since I was 19. It's a very long time. I know some of you might think like, well, you look kind of young. Some of you might not be thinking that, but I do get that a lot. And I'm like, oh no, I'm 47. So I've been doing this a very long time. And I've worked with some of the top agencies in the world, starting in Silicon Valley. And then I've also, as I've evolved and I worked internally at corporations like Intuit, I launched Quicken 98, 99, and 2000. I know a thing or two about product launches. So when I did that, I was managing agencies around the world in LA and New York, Manning, Salvage and Lee, and in Paris and our international, other international agencies. So I've been doing the same thing for a very long time. I also have a very strong track record of creating results for my clients strategically, right? So be careful who you're listening to business advice from is my suggestion. You guys can, if you want to know more about me, you can go look on my website, on my about section. You can actually see the whole journey there. All right, so I want to share with you to set the tone for this training, one of my very favorite quotes of all time. I say this quote all the time, and it's by Sun Tzu. And Sun Tzu says, strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. So strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. But tactics without strategy is the noise before the defeat. I still get chill bumps when I say that. And when you start to think about that sentence and you really look at the way that you've been taught to build and run your business, have you been taught to do it strategically or have you been taught to do it tactically? Right? I want you to start asking yourself that question. A main part of what I am teaching our clientele is clarity always precedes strategy. You must be clear first. Then when you're clear, we can create a strategy. But strategy always precedes tactics. Always in all ways. Okay, so clarity precedes strategy, but then strategy precedes tactics. And what 98% of people out there in the market are teaching is they're teaching tactical approaches to business, which is based in the hustle and grind. So it's like, you need to do all these things if you want to build your business, right? And if the market isn't hearing your message, especially online, what are you supposed to do? You do more of it. Now, first it was, you needed 10 pieces of content. Now you need 100, right? That's noise, especially when it's not well positioned. If some of you are like, I'm doing all the things and I'm not getting any traction, I can almost guarantee you that the reason that is occurring is because you are following a tactical approach to business. You don't have a strategy. Okay. I have even met people that have hustled and grinded their way to $500,000, $750,000 businesses that do not have a strategy. And they're like, but I did pretty well. And I said, right, but you could have been doing like 5 million a year, right? So strategy is absolutely essential. And that is what my zone of genius is. That is what all of our programs are based on. That is what all of our communities are based on. It is about being strategic. In fact, I don't know if you guys can see the little sign behind me. You can also see my ring light. One of my catchphrases is strategy is the new hustle, right? So I am on a mission to save entrepreneurs from doing all the things and start operating their businesses from a really strategic level. So let's dive into this. So strategy, Okay, here, I'll get that light down so it's not in your face. Okay, so strategy. Strategy is the long game. Strategy is the why and the what of your business and your marketing plan. Like why are, what's the purpose of what it is that we're doing business? What is our zone of genius? How are we, what's the way in which we're going to market? It's the long game. It's the long game. If you think about it like this, strategy is like sitting down and having a conversation, and I'm like, hey, let's go on a road trip. And you're like, awesome, where should we go? And I'm like, I don't know, we're in LA, let's go to New York. And you're like, awesome, let's go to New York. And I'm like, great, so but let's decide like the experience we want to have in going to New York. Like, I have 4 weeks of vacation. Do you have 4 weeks of vacation? They're like, no, I have 1 week of vacation. It's like, oh, okay. So we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to like be able to get there and back in a week. Okay. So, like, are there any specific like spots you want to see, or do you want to just like go through and get to New York? Like, what's the experience you want to have on this trip? By the way, how much money do you have? Right? Like, because depending on how much money we have, that's gonna also make like, are we sleeping in our car? Are we staying at the Ritz? Like, what are we doing so that we can actually plan out the overarching route to get where we want to be, and then plug it into the GPS with those coordinates. That GPS is going to spit back our strategic roadmap. Okay, so I want to apply this for a minute to business. So in business, your strategy, your go-to-market strategy is like, what is the business that what exactly is the business that you're offering? And for what purpose what is your authority and expertise to offer that business? And how are you going to position your business in the marketplace to stand out from every other person who's doing what you're doing? Because if you are not standing out, you are totally invisible, and you are competing. It's like trying to go into a stadium filled with screaming, drunk football fans, and you're trying to say like, guys, I want you to listen. I'm really passionate about this with my business. No one's going to hear you. Maybe one person might look at you and be like, oh, that's a really cute sweater. I think I'm going to go talk to them. And then you might get like one person, right? Or maybe the people around you might be like, hey, guys, follow me. And the people around you will be like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll follow you. And then they're back doing other things, right? That's not strategic. So you have to be well positioned. And then ultimately, like, how are you going to go to market and come to market in a way, like, what is going to be your service line extension? What's your brand strategy going to be? What promise are you making in the marketplace? What do you want to be known as the go-to expert and authority in your field? And then what are the programs and pricing and service that are going to allow you to create a highly profitable venture very quickly, so that you have even more money to not only live the lifestyle that you want, but also if you choose to expand your business, so that you actually have the money to invest in your business. These are all of the strategic decisions that you need to make before you get into the tactics. So back to my GPS analogy. So now we know where we're going, right? And we know how long we have to get there. And we know how much money we have, right? Well, now we need to start making some tactical decisions. Like, okay, well, given that, are we going to take a plane or are we going to take a car, right? Because those two things are tactics. Like, or are we going to take a train, or are we going to take a bus? Are we going to walk? Are we going to ride a bike? Like, what are the different, there's lots of different ways we can get there. What's the one that's going to match up? Or maybe it's that, hey, we fly into an airport here, but then we take the train, like we fly from California to Washington, D.C., but then we're going to take the train from Washington, D.C. to New York because we want to have a certain experience. Right? It's like, okay, it's like, or maybe it's like, hey, no, we're going to take a car. Well, great. Well, now there's all these things that we need to do, these tasks that support taking a car, right? We need to choose the car that we want to take that's going to fit in, and we need to customize that car for our needs. We're going to need to put gas in the car. We need to pack the car. Like, now we're talking like tasks, like executables, right? So the strategy is the big picture. The tactics are, Like how? Okay, so let's just say, like, as an example, in your business, or in my business, my go-to market strategy was to, position my, like, what is it that is my genius, my core zone of genius? Brand positioning and strategy. And by the way, I use those two things to bring to market Marketing to Millionaires because of my background, right? And so now I'm the go-to authority. I am known as the leading expert around the world in marketing to affluent clients. How did that happen? How did that happen? Well, it didn't happen. It didn't happen by accident. It happened because I had an entire go-to marketing strategy with my branding and my positioning and the different types of products and services that I offer. But then there's some tactical things there, right? Like, we need to promote, obviously. So what are the ways that we promote? And is promotion a tactic or a strategy? Promotion is a tactic, right? Now, here's the thing. You always want to do your tactics strategically. So as an example, I have the Marketing to Millionaires podcast. How many of you who are subscribers, right? Drop it down below. And by the way, drop and introduce yourself. Those of you who are in the circle, let us know that you're here live, or if you're watching the replay, and drop that information in there so we can know who's here. And if you've got a profit concierge, please do tag them. But anyways, back to what I was saying, it's, I have a podcast, but there's a very specific strategic way that we've set up that podcast as a part of our client path. Okay. So many of you probably are in this circle because you found my podcast on iTunes or online when you were searching on marketing to affluent clientele. So again, strategy is the big picture. It's the why and the what. Tactics are the how. It's how we're going to get there. So what happens is, back to what I was saying before, what happens in the marketplace is that there's so many mentors out there being like, they're taking such a tactical approach to building business that they're like, you need to do content, you need to do blogging, you need to do webinars, you need to do this, you need to be on Clubhouse, you need to be doing all these different things. And then what ends up happening is people that are not even meant to be marketers, right? By the way, the people who are training you on these things are marketers. So they're very marketing heavy, right? I was a strategist first, like I am a strategic marketer, but I am a strategist first and then a marketer. So there are marketers or salespeople that are coming out and teaching people how to tactically approach getting results. And look, there are people that get results that way. They love hustling and grinding. They love working 80-hour work weeks. They love being an entrepreneur and, hanging out on Clubhouse for 42 hours a day. I'm not one of those people, and I don't know if you are, but that's not the way I want to roll. Like, I want to utilize my marketing plans and my marketing tactics very strategically to achieve the results and to serve the people that I'm meant to serve and create the impact that I'm meant to create in the world so that I can be on alignment with my life purpose. And that to me does not look like pulling 90-hour weeks every week. No. When my sweet spot is, I like to work about 30 hours a week. That's my preference. Now, there's times, like right now, I'm in the middle of a major operational overhaul. So I'm working way more hours than typically, but I'm in the middle of a project. Like, I'm in the middle of a remodel, if that makes sense. You don't remodel your house every day. I'm remodeling my brand. I'm remodeling my back-end organization. We've brought on a bunch of new people. So that's not typical for me, but typically that's not the way I want to roll. The reason I'm doing this now is so by the time spring comes out, right, and summer starts to roll around, I'll tell you right now, every Friday, you know where I'm going to be? On the lake with my boat, skiing. That's where I'm going to be, right? I'm going to be on the lake every weekend. I'm going to be able to cut out of work at 3:00 and go skiing if I want to, or go play tennis, because I've set my business up that way, because I designed it that way strategically. Okay. So strategy is critical if you want to stop doing all the stuff, right? If you want to actually start doing things that are going to be effective, rather than you want to be productive, not busy. And productivity comes from being strategic. Busy comes from being tactical. So we want to err more on productive, right? So it's critical that you start to operate strategically if you want to make more money, okay? Because I've literally seen companies shoot themselves by millions in the foot by operating tactically. If you want to have more free time for you, if you want to conserve your resources and be more profitable, then you want your team operating strategically too. If you want to work smarter instead of harder, that's strategic, right? And again, like the wasting of resources, which number one is, initially when you get into business, your number one resource is generally your time. But at a certain point, it not only becomes your time, but it also becomes your money, because you can waste a lot of money trying to build your business tactically, because it is the noise before the defeat when you don't have a strategy behind it. Okay. So one of the things that I want to invite you to do, right, is I want you to back up, and I want to ask you a couple of questions to start pointing you in the direction of operating strategically. So the first thing is to really get clarity. It's like, why, for what purpose are you in business, right? And for those of you who are out there, I actually just was watching my friend Perry Belcher online last night, and he was like, he called BS on one of the biggest coachy industry myths. And I was just like, amen. He was like, for those of you who are out there saying, do what you love and the money will follow. He goes, that's bullshit. He goes, I don't know. He goes, you know who's selling you that line of bullshit? All of the coaches out there that want you, that want to sell you their programs and courses. He's like, because that's not the way that business runs. And I'm here to tell you, he's correct. That's not the way that business runs. Yes, we want you to do things that you love. We want you to wrap your business around things that you're passionate about. More importantly, we want to wrap your business around things that you are genius at. That's what you need to be wrapping your business around. And if you are not at an expert level yet, or you're not at a genius level yet, then you need to, if you're starting, like say you're starting a new career, you need to apprentice with someone first. You need to intern with someone first so that you can watch what they're doing and so that you can learn under the wing of someone else until you build up that level of expertise that allows you to go out and really build a thriving business around what it is that you're doing. We're here, especially in marketing to affluent clientele, we're here to provide a top-level, top-notch service to people who can afford it. And they're very discerning. So we don't want to be cutting our teeth on affluent clientele. We want to work out the kinks, get that confidence, get the track record, know what we're doing, and then go after our affluent clientele so that we can build our businesses correctly, right? So you again, like there's a lot that goes into building a business aside from just passion and purpose, right? There's business strategy, there is that level of expertise, there's the training, there is the getting the consulting to be able to build your business effectively. There is organizational structure, there is marketing strategy, there is sales strategy, there are operations, there's a lot of things that go into building a business. So if you want a serious business, this is what I'm inviting you to do, which, by the way, my company only works with serious business owners. So if that's you, listen up. So here's what you need to do. Number one, why did you get into business? Right? Go back to it. Like, what was the thing that you wanted for yourself? That's the first question I want to ask you. The second question I want to ask you is, what is your zone of genius? And if you don't know these questions, in fact, I invite you guys to actually, if you know the answer, put them down below. And if you don't know the answer, say, you know what, I need some support with that, and tag your profit concierge. We have resources that can help you figure all these things out. So and if you don't know who your profit concierge is, say, I don't know who my profit concierge is. Someone will find you, I promise. We will come and throw the life raft around you and grab you. So what is your zone of genius? And the third thing is, and this is the kicker, what is it that you really want? Like, what type of business do you really want? I hear people saying, I want $1 million business, and they don't even know how to build a $100,000 business. Right? Which is totally different. And it could be that they really do want $1 million business, but I say, why? Like, do you know what comes with building $1 million business? You know, or is it that you want, you ultimately want to have a business doing what you love that makes impact, but there has to be profitability in there somewhere, right? Serious entrepreneurs don't get into business to work 90 hours a week and make the wage of a Starbucks employee, right? Serious business owners want to improve their personal lifestyle, and whatever that looks like to you is fine. I don't care if you want to go and make $500,000 so you can give it all away to charity, or if you want to make $500,000 so that you can buy this year's Lambo. I don't really care, but you need to know what it is that you want in your life and your business. So you need to know what it is that you want in your life and your business. And then the question becomes, how do I set up my business to achieve that? And if you don't know the answer, definitely tag your Profit Concierge, because we do have resources to help you. All right, everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It has been my pleasure to be of service for you. Again, please do connect with your Profit Concierge, schedule your welcome call. And if you like this topic and you like and you like what we're up to here in the group, nominate your friends to the circle. All right, everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, I want everyone to have an amazing week. Bye-bye.